Hey everybody, this is Brad from Johnson Small Engines, better known as the one-hand mechanic. If I can do it, you can too. Working on a John Deere Z335E. Just want to show you today how to operate it. First thing you want to do is you want to check the oil. All right, we have the oil dipstick over here. This is a twin Briggs & Stratton engine. It's a 20 horse Briggs. You want to turn the dipstick halfway, pull it out. Okay, now we just serviced this, so it's pretty clean. Okay, you have, as you can see in my other videos, this guy here has two little divots here and then one divot here. You want to make sure that you're putting them in a dipstick, two divots there and one divot there. Make sure you put it in correctly, just so you don't get it jammed up. Okay, so that's where you check your oil. All right, your fuel tank is here, and I have noticed on this machine that you cannot tell how much gas is in your fuel tank. All right, there's no way of seeing in there. So if you come around to this side, believe it or not, this little emblem right here is a fuel sign, and that actually is a light right there. So when you're low on fuel, that light will come on in a circle. All right, and I do know that as a fact. So that's your that's how you can tell how much fuel is in there. You definitely want to start with a full tank of gas. Your oil is now checked. We're going to go through some of these controls right here. We have a nice hour meter here, which is a great thing to have when you're trying to figure out your maintenance schedule. Full throttles here, we have turtle and rabbit. Now this doesn't show a sign for choke on this, so basically it has an automatic choke on it, so you just basically have to start it at like a medium throttle and then crank it until it starts, and then it will start up. This is your ignition switch here. Basically it's off, on, and crank. And then your PTO switch is here, which is your electric PTO for your power takeoff for your mower deck. Okay, coming up front here, we have controls. You have their handle here for your mower deck. Now I'm going to sit on the tractor to just show you this. Okay, so this is your up and down for your mower deck, and you can lock it in the up position by pulling it all the way up and then going a little to your left. And there is a little divot in there that it actually sits on, so that'll keep it up. And then you have this tool here, which will control how high your deck is. And it does have a little stud right here that's sticking out. So when you want to move this out, you just pull it all the way up to 180, and then it comes out, and you put it down to a notch where you think you want the mower deck. Then you slide it back in, and when it goes back down 180, it actually locks itself, so you can't lose it, which is a nice feature. And then you take your handle, pick it up, put it down on it, and now this is your deck height right here. All right, so that's a nice feature as far as the deck height. You have many different positions you can put it in, but if you do want to just put the mower deck up out of the way, just pull it up a little to the left and it locks itself up, and then you can also take this out. Now what's really nice about this key, all right, this key here will come out 180, pull it out. It actually has it looks like a little socket on here. All right, so this platform here can be taken off by this bolt right here. So that bolt right there, you can actually take that off. You have a little it's a handle right here, and you can pick this whole platform up out of the way so you can get underneath your mower deck and clean it out. It's a nice feature. Going back to the handles again, you have your brake here. This is your emergency brake. You have to have this in the on position, which is up, before you start the machine, and you have to make sure you put it back down when you are ready to go and cut, because if you don't have this off when you're ready to cut, it will shut the mower down when you're doing the handles up top, and I'll show you that in a second. Going back down to the mower deck here, this is a nice feature. It allows you to pick this up and clean out. So just you have to put the mower deck all the way down, which I'll do right now, and it doesn't give you as much height as I would like, but it does give you a nice height to get in there and clean it out. And you can also grease your bearings that way too, which is a very nice feature. As far as the starting of the machine and running it, let me just get this set up here. Okay, you have your handles for your forward and your backward, and when they're out in neutral, you have to have them all the way out so it'll actually start. Okay, it will not start if they're in, and you have to have the e-brake on. All right, so the e-brake's on. We have these out. I have it set at about a medium speed, a little bit low. You're going to set it up to crank. I'm going to crank it up here, and as soon as it starts, I'm going to shut it down. Now, if you have your handles in at all, it's not going to start. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is a safety switch. You have to have your handles out. Also, if your handles are out, but your emergency brake over here is down, it still won't start. Okay, so remember that. You have to have your emergency brake up, and you have to have your handles out, and then it'll start. And then when you're ready to go, you're just going to pull your PTO, after you put your mower deck into whatever position you want. All right, so I'm gonna lower it down to that position. We're gonna start it up, and then I'm gonna run the blades. You can take the emergency brake off, so you gotta remember to take your emergency brake off or it will shut down. Okay, so I put the handles out, put the PTO back in, which is off, and then remember to put the brake on. It's just a good habit to get the brake on when you get off the machine. So that's pretty much how you operate that part. Now, as far as going forward and backward, it's basically forward, and then you have backward, and you have right, and then left. Okay, so when you're going to go right and left, you just think of it as just the opposite. So when you push your left hand forward, it's going to make it go right because it's driving your left wheel. And then when you go left, you're going to push your right hand forward and it's going to make you go left. It'll take you basically 5 minutes to get used to it, maybe 10 minutes depending on who you are, and just to get this thing to go forward and backward. The nice feature about this is you can cut in reverse no matter what. There's no safety switches going in reverse. You just have to be careful. I do want to show you one thing about pushing this machine. If you ever need to push this machine, you got to make sure that, one, you take the hydros out of gear, okay? And when you take it out of gear, which I'll show you now, they're in the back, and there's a little notch here, this guy right here, this little knob, okay? It's got a little V right there. You're going to push this up and lock it over to the right, and then the other one's on the other side. You're going to push this up and lock it over to the left. Actually, this is a little bit harder. Okay, there it is. Now, to push this, right now it won't move, okay? Even though it's in the unlocked position, you want to make sure you take your emergency brake off, and then you also put your handles in. I'm pretty sure you have to put them in. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure, yeah. So now we can push it, okay? So if you ever need to push your machine, you want to make sure that these right here are in the out position the way they are. So when you want to lock them in, you just go back into the lock position, which is right there. Same over here. And they're a little, sometimes this one's actually a little bit sticky. Yeah, just rock it back and forth a little bit and it'll actually go back. So now it's into the go position and you should not be able to move it. I do want to show underneath the seat. Now the seat doesn't have a latch on it. So when you push this seat forward, you got to be careful. Don't just slam it because it will hit hard right there on the plastic part, and I can see where it would crack and if you're not careful. To adjust the seat is right here, and basically that wrench which I showed you earlier, which is this tool right here, this actually has a socket on it. Okay, that guy there will also adjust your seat. Okay, so keep that in mind. That wrench does a lot of stuff. We have the battery under here, and it also gives you a diagram of your belts. Gives you some doesn't give you part numbers, but it does say check everything. It's like a service maintenance interval thing. Pretty nice to have. And if you take these tabs and push them in, there's your battery. Okay, they also give you a nice little teeny box over here for just anything, gloves or whatever you want to put in there. Just a little cubby there for holding things. And that's pretty much that's it for underneath there. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate everybody watching my videos. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.